Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
3 games to go then. How much now is this about who handles the pressure best?
Well, all aspects in football are important, and obviously we're heading into the crunch time period, and to keep the nerves and to stay cool and focused on the contents, yes, it's obviously an important thing, but also the quality of the team, the quality of the players, also that you have a bit luck in terms of injuries. All these topics are quite important, but obviously to be focused on what you can influence and also the contents you want to be good in is always crucial. Yes.
Hi Daniel, what about the team news as well? Injuries don't seem to have been too bad lately, but is James Shackleton back involved for you now?
Not in team training yet, but he will join us probably then from tomorrow on. Could be probably the game comes a bit too soon for him, but definitely good news with him because he's not too far away from joining us in team training, and then obviously he can join us also in terms of availability pretty quickly. Sadly, some bad news with Conor Roberts. His muscles showed a reaction after the last game during training in this week, and he will definitely miss the 2 upcoming away games. Perhaps there's a chance for him to return back for Southampton. We tried to be really careful with him after he came back with an injury after the last international break. Just gave him a few short-term appearances, and then last game, obviously the first time, over 60 minutes. Perhaps we were even not even careful enough with him. So he will definitely miss the next 2 games. But this is more or less the only bad news in this terms. All the other players, apart from our long-term injuries, of course, like Pascal Stoic, are then available.
And can we just clear up what happened with Christopher John as well? Will you be without him in the dugout after what happened in the last game?
Yes, because he had the choice to run through the opponent's dugout in order to complain about the penalty situation of the fourth official, because the fourth official was standing in the opponent's dugout, and then sadly he crossed the line, and for that he probably has to accept that he's not with us in the dugout for this one game. That's right.
Okay, so you'd be one light there, yeah. But otherwise team news is pretty good. Bearing in mind you've got a game Monday and Friday, and Ipswich don't play in that time, how important has this week been for you? Because it's the last clear one that you've got really now, isn't it?
Yes, to be honest, each and every game is important, each and every point counts, and the closer you come to the end, the more important it is, because the less chances you have to repair if you're there with something, if you're there with a mistake. But it's more or less the same what we have faced during the whole season. So we have to concentrate on us. We have to concentrate on being good in our game, and being good and also better than the last game, in order to use our chances to be effective, in order to win as many points as possible. And then we'll see what the outcome is. Obviously, the fixture list is a bit crazy during the season, but we once you have worked in the championship, then you've experienced this several times. So for that, it's not too much to pay attention on other pitches or to complain about the fixture list or whatever. It is like it is, and right now we have 2 away games within 4 days. We play before, for example, Ipswich plays, or right now after Leicester and Southampton plays. So it is like it is, and we want to grind out good results in each and every game.
Dan, and I think everybody would have accepted this position at the beginning of the season after what was happening last summer. But how much pressure or otherwise is there from the owners with you to get promotion this season?
From the owners, it's just backing and trust there. So it's more like the pressure that we have is right now. We have brought us into a privileged position, and we want to use it. Yeah. We're playing in many terms a top class season. Point tally is remarkable. Goal difference is remarkable. We are by far the best team in the second half of the season. Our defensive record is remarkable. So in many statistics, we are more or less leading this league. I think the lads are playing a fantastic season so far, and I mentioned before, so we do it step by step, and we brought us right now into the privileged situation that we will definitely finish the season in the top 4. And once you are capable to do this, then you also want to take the last step in order to play a perfect season. And to play a perfect season, yes, of course, we want to promote. And we have two chances, even if we climb up the table in order to finish in the top two, and if not, then by using the playoffs. And this is what we want to use right now. We are knowing that we're playing a fantastic season, but right now we also want to use it in order to play really the perfect season to promote back to the Premier League and want to do this. We're all highly motivated. This is more like an intrinsic pressure that we have, and this is what we want to do.
Middlesbrough, it depends what happens this weekend. Their playoff hopes could be out their hands come Monday night. Are you expecting that to have an effect either way on how that game will be played?
No, because it's always a side also in the recent weeks there where there was really good performances. I think unbeaten run as well, many good wins and also top class performances aside. The beginning of the season would also speak about that they want to finish in the top six, and there's still a chance, and you have to keep going till the end. And I expect them to be highly motivated. Yeah, perhaps to play even with a bit less pressure because they have nothing to lose anymore. They just can win something, and obviously it's also a pretty local game, and they will be highly motivated in the home game to be there with an outstanding performance and a really good result. So I expect a really tough game for us, but this is more or less what we face in 46 game days, and for that we are prepared. We know that we have to be at our best in order to give ourselves a chance to win the points, but this is definitely what we want to do, and we are highly motivated.
Just away from the league, Daniel, you said you wanted to win the FA Cup this year. We now have a situation where there's going to be no replays. What do you make of that decision?
I try to concentrate on the things that I can influence, and don't comment too much about the decision. I leave it with the authorities and also to the people who more like weigh the advantages and disadvantages. You know, nowadays sometimes as a manager you are a bit too concerned about too many games. That's definitely a fact, but it depends always also on the situation. I'm also normally with this attitude, I rather play than I train, and it's also the same for the supporters. They want to see proper games, and I'm far away from punishing replay situations. I can give you an example. So my first position here in English football was for Norwich City, and in my first season we were under unbelievable pressure. We need to gain money in order to make sure that this club survives, and we had also a really good Carabao Cup run, also a really good FA Cup run. And one thing was also crucial. We had a home game against Chelsea. There was a draw, and then we were allowed to travel to Stamford Bridge. And it was also important to have this replay because we need each and every pound, if I'm honest, in this moment. And it helped also the club more or less like to keep going forward. And especially for the smaller clubs, it's sometimes also beneficial and also sometimes for the smaller clubs and to be allowed and to be able to present bigger clubs in a home game, for example, to their supporters is also great. But there are also some perhaps disadvantages with replay in terms of the fixture list. So I take it like it is and leave the decisions to the big authorities. But I think it's not an easy decision, and as far as I can say, I also got the benefits in my positions before with clubs who had the replay situations, and for that, I leave these decisions to the authorities, and no comments from myself.
And finally, just looking in your homeland of Germany, there's 3 German clubs now in the big competitions in terms of the semis. When you look at the model in Germany, does that give you hope that Leeds can do it similarly? You don't have to have the sugar daddy to do the money. You know, the 50+1 thing works. You invest in youth, you go up, you sustain yourself in the Premier League. Does that give you hope? Is that the way forward?
I wouldn't speak just because of 1 year about a trend, and obviously we have also in Germany clubs like Bayern Munich, like Borussia Dortmund since years. Right now Leverkusen is outstanding under Xabi Alonso. I think they are always be competitive and will always be competitive, and it's also a bit extraordinary that really 3 German clubs are in this position. But I think it's for each and every club important to work with sustainability and also to work on what you're capable to do, and also to be smart in terms of what you spend, and don't just be addicted to short-term success and spend crazy money. It's also important that you develop the club. So this is also one of the reasons why I signed here for this club, because we had great conversations with our key people. So we wanted to make sure that not each and every money that is pound that is there is just goes into salaries. We also want to develop this club. We have spent even the recent amount, proper amount into the training ground, into the facilities in order to improve this. And these are also corner steps for us. And yes, when I have a look into our squad, obviously we have some quality players and perhaps also better and more financial opportunities than several other clubs in this league. But we also try to spend it wisely, and we don't do anything stupid. This is why we are also playing with a very, very young squad, also in comparison to some of our competitors in the top end of the table. And this makes it sometimes a bit more unlikely to be successful, because when you have a look who is really in contention to win the league and the national leagues, but also in the European competitions, it's quite often a side who is also very experienced, like for example Real Madrid, like for example Bayern Munich, also who wins the league. So it's more like pretty experienced sides. And it's never that easy with a relatively young group to be successful. But this is also what we are all about. Also as Leeds United, when I compare our group, for example, just have to have a look on our last starting lineup. Ilan Meslier, experienced already, but pretty young at age. Then when I have a look on who plays for us in central positions, Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu. When I compare this with the teams who are also there with us fighting for the top position in the league, on this position they are all more experienced. When I compare our central midfield, Ilya Gruev and Archie Gray, have a look on Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester, they play with more experience. When I have a look on our offensive players who started the last game, Chris Somerville 22, Georgie Rutter 21, Willy Gnonto 20, and the oldest one was Joël Pirot 24. All the other competitors have more experience. This means we still have to develop and to grow. And we're not the finished end product. It's not like we are like a result machine and we deliver because we're so experienced and we're so mature. We have the privilege of having so much use that we're also sometimes there, perhaps ineffective, like in the last game, or we have areas where we need to improve. But this was also like one of our cornerstones. No, we don't want to do anything stupid in order to spend crazy money to bring perhaps even older experienced players in. We want to create something with sustainability. We want to develop this club also on the mid and the long term, and not just try to put everything on short-term success. And I think this will be our way also for the future. I won't judge anything what happened in the past, but as long as I'm in this role, I will make sure that we try to lead this club also with sustainability, also with a view on the mid and the long-term success. Obviously, for me as a manager, it's always important to win the next 3 points. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. I know this. I'm not naive. I'm living and working too much and too long in this business. But for me, once I overtake a new job, I'm 100% a club manager, and I want to make sure that this club develops in the right direction. And I wouldn't label it too much the German model or whatever, but I will label it the smart model. And all I can say about our key people, the conversations that we have, the discussions that we have, we want to be so ambitious and I also ask for quality, and we need to add quality. That's definitely a fact. But I would never ever put pressure on them to do something crazy or something stupid what is not healthy for us as a group, and also not healthy for us as a club. Yes, and if we are then struggling a bit sometimes also to be there with perfect results always there, and I take it. I don't want to buy success. I want to build success. I want to develop this club in order to be successful. I want to make sure that this club rather sooner than later, yes, but returns back to the Premier League, and I want to stay there. I don't want to be there just with one year spending money and then we have one good year and then we suffer for 10 years. I want to make sure that we establish this club one year on the top level. But this is more like then for discussions also for the next month, next years. Right now, obviously, we're also pretty much focused on the short-term success. And we're greedy to win the next 3 points, also the next game. But this is more like the wider picture.
Hi, Daniel. How is Christopher Clyson physically and mentally, and has he been able to explain what happened this week?
Yeah, so to be honest, I don't like to comment too much what happens in the private life for my players, because they are all mature and all adults, and for that I rather speak about sport in comparison to their private life. But I have to say, so I was a bit shocked, and I think we were all a bit shocked when we heard the news that there was a car accident, and there are also a few pictures, and we were really concerned, and I was really happy to hear that physically everything's okay, and also mentally he was okay. That's the most important thing, and the only thing that matters. Obviously, we had also a short chat to speak about the situation. He explained what happened, and I totally trust, and I have not one reason to doubt his words. And for that, there is nothing that is something there to criticize or to accuse. It was just a very, very unlucky accident, at least what he has explained, and I have no reason to doubt his explanation for that. I'm just relieved and happy, as we all are, that he came out of this difficult situation really in a physically without any problems, and also mentally no problems. He was able to deliver good training performances in the last 2 days, and that's the only thing that matters.
We all know how good Ethan's been next to Joe Rodon. Is it harder for him to be as influential with his progressive passing as a centre-back than it is when he was in central midfield? And is that the biggest thing you miss from midfield when he's moved back into centre-back?
It depends a bit. So in general, it's one of his strengths, I would say, is the passing skills, the build-up. But I wouldn't label him like a creative number 10. So it's also not that he always plays the final pass and is there already, even the midfield role, it's already there with 15, 16 assists. I think we have players in this area on the pitch who are capable to initiate also our attacks from the midfield point of view. I would perhaps even judge it in the other way around. I think for a centre back, he's outstanding in this passing skills and also in his build-up skills, and also he's capable and has proved this sometimes also with a chip ball to create an easy chance or to assist to goals. I remember, for example, the goal Georgie scored in the first half of the season when Ethan played this chip ball, when he moved back a bit from a bit higher position to a deeper role. So I think in this role he even has the freedom perhaps to have a bit more time on the ball in order to find the forward passes. And I wouldn't label it that we are getting worse just because he's moving back, because Ilya, for example, who has played this role in the recent games, is also pretty good in initiating the passes and also find the through pass and vertical passes. And I also always judge and I rate Ethan in the midfield role very, very high. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played him there for whatever 20-25 games. But I have to say, I also rate him in the central defensive position. And he's, thank God, a player who delivers wherever we need him. And it would be nice to have 2 or 3 time players of his caliber. But I'm happy to have at least one Ethan Ampadu, and he plays wherever we need him.
Hi Daniel, have you had to rebuild any confidence this week with the players? Maybe remind them of how good they were during that 15-match unbeaten run?
Yes, but not with playing some psychological game. So I rather name it like it is, and I don't like to sugarcoat situations, but I also don't be too addicted to results. So I'm a manager and I can't bake results. I just can deliver performances, and it's football. And it was relatively easy after the last game. If I'm honest, obviously we were disappointed with the outcome and that we didn't score, but it was also just relatively easy. I just have to point to the statistics and show them more or less the scenes from the last game. We dominated this game with 75 to 25% possession. We dominated this game with 19 to 3 shots. We dominated this game with 12 to 1 corners. We dominated this game in terms of expected goals. I could go on with all the statistics. They don't matter. The only statistic that matters are goals. But it tells you, if you play the same game 30 times, you will win it 28 times. There's one game when you draw it and one game when you lose it. And it was just one of the days. It's football. We all know this. And it's, of course, a bit unlucky that it's in a second-class home game that this happens. But to be honest, also for us, not that much has changed. Because we had a difficult start to the season out of the obvious reason we don't have to speak about it. So I think even after 3 game days, we had 2 points, and the teams who are sitting there top of the table, Leicester, Ipswich, they started with 9 points, I think. So even from this moment, we had to chase. And obviously the first 9-10 games, due to the obvious reasons, were difficult. But from this point, we were just in the chasing role. So the whole season, we were in the chasing role, and the only thing that has happened is we're edging closer. Yeah, obviously, to be fully honest, yes, with a bit better outcome out of last week, it could have been that we would be the first time leading from the front. Yes, we know this. Would have appreciated to be this, but if I'm honest, after this week, for us, nothing has changed. We're still in the chasing role, so that's what we've done more or less for 43 game days right now, and we will keep going. And like I mentioned before, so it's not like that we give anything away. If you're always just in the chasing rule, you just can win. This is what we want to do right now. We want to make sure with the perfect outcome in the last 3 games, perhaps we can climb the table into the top 2 and to be there with automatic promotion. And if not, then okay, we accept this, and then we go by using the plays and chase in the playoffs the big target promotion. But nothing has changed, and for that we're looking forward to have the 3 games. So we appreciate that we are in a situation that we were edging closer and closer, and we still have the chance to finish in the top 2. Yeah, it's great. And if not, yeah, we still have another bullet. That's a playoff. This is how we rate it. And also what I said about the use of my team. This team deserves all the trust and all the backing. And I just for myself can speak. I totally trust these guys, and I back these guys. And I spoke about the lack of experience sometimes, and also why we were not able to win this last game. But to be truly honest, this is also 100% us. The last game against Blackburn is also 100%. It was 100% us, because the whole season, we're struggling a bit with chipping in with goals from the back line. It was different when Pascal Struijk was playing and Liam Cooper was playing, and also when Sam Byram was a bit more in the starting lineup, because there are real goal threats also from set pieces. But we haven't chipped in that much with goals from the back line. We also haven't chipped in with goals from the midfield line, if I'm honest. So we were always a bit relying on creating from our offensive players, and they were fantastic. They created so many chances, scored so many goals. They scored goals for fun. Yeah, but there is also this spell. There is also this 1 week, this 1 or 2 games. Yes, where my offensive threats are then not that effective. This was the reason I criticized this even in the weeks when we were winning games, because I know, so we don't chip in that much with goals from defensive or midfield positions. We rely on the goals from the offensive positions. This is what this team is all about. We have to grow and to develop in other areas. We have to develop that we also chip in with goals from the back row. We have to develop that we chip in with goals from the midfield row. And for that, it was also completely us. It was the only thing that was a bit unlucky. Yes, we didn't have our goal scoring form in the offensive positions. Yes, and we accept this because we are not the finished end product. We are not Real Madrid with unbelievable experience. We are not Bayern Munich with being clinical. Anyhow, we are a pretty young side, and sometimes this club is amazing, and we have one department where we are definitely one of the best sides in this league, if not the best side. This is our supporters. The supporters of this club are second to none. They are right up there with the best in this country, if they are not the best. But just because we have the skill, it's not we are the big favorite anyhow. When I compare our last 20 years as a club, and I love this club already, and I am ambitious. I told you what I want for this club in the mid and the long term. But when I compare how many years we spent in the Premier League in the last 20 years, and you compare this with the likes of Leicester or Southampton, you won't label us the big favorite. If I'm honest, when you have a look on the average age who is on the starting lineup, you won't label us as a big favorite. We have fantastic players, and I tell you what, I don't want to swap one player. I totally believe in this group, and I totally trust these players. But because we are not the Finnish Empire, I can't guarantee that we are always there with a perfect outcome. But I don't want to copy anyone. But I think it was my German fella, Jürgen Klopp, once he joined Liverpool. He said once, we have to start this process to become believers, not doubters. And this is more or less like what I would like to invite everyone who is connected with Leeds United. These lads have done so fantastic, and also this club, the key people in this club, has done so fantastic to come from really a difficult situation 10 months ago into this position right now. We have an exciting young team with lots of potential, and we are on the right path, and we're developing so much into the right direction. These lads deserve so much backing and so much trust, and I would like to invite everyone to be a believer. To believe that we can do it, that we can make out of our season a perfect season, either by using the first bullet by climbing up the table in the top two, and if not, then by the second bullet to play a perfect season to go into the playoffs. I rather would finish the season in the beginning of May, if I'm really honest, because I'm also looking forward to plan a bit earlier, to have a bit more relaxed summer. But if not, then we also go for the playoffs. But right now we are just focused. No, the last 3 games. Come on, be a believer. I believe in that we can do this, and we go for it. And if you choose to stay a doubter and moan a bit and be pessimistic and whatever, don't worry, we go for it anyway. So you tried though, so not a problem. But believe me, it feels much better if you're a believer. And this is more or less, I would like to invite everyone who backs us, because this young group needs backing. This young group needs trust and needs support and deserves it. This is what I'm totally convinced of, and we go for it. So I can promise we go for it. I can't promise the perfect result, because it's football. We are a young side, but we'll definitely go for it. And I just can invite everyone to be a believer, because it feels much better than just to be a moaner or a doubter. But if you choose to moan and doubt, no problem. We go for it anyway.
You said some really interesting things about building patiently, financially for the future, and not buying success quickly. We saw the club's accounts last week. Have you been given any assurances about how the picture looks if you don't achieve promotion?
No, obviously we have lots of conversation in the background on what is possible and what is not possible, but this is not for the public. And also in my role, I want to concentrate. I have to comment on so many topics, meanwhile even about car incidents anyhow. So I just want to focus on my topic. My topic is football. So with the heart and soul, I'm a football manager, and I love to speak about football and to develop a group and to develop a club in these terms. I'm not an accountant, and obviously I've also got economic background a little bit. I understand the numbers, and when we have conversation in the background, I also understand the necessities and what is necessary. I think the club is in top class hands. Meanwhile, also in this terms, it's never easy. After a difficult spell to build also in this terms sustainability and consistency. But I think we are definitely on the right path, and we've got fantastic people who are concerned about this topic, and I'm sure that we will have a really good future. Perhaps we will not be the club who is capable to spend the biggest money, not in the Premier League, and if it's a championship next season, probably also not in this league. But it's also not the topic. So I don't want to be successful just because I can buy the best players. I want to be successful because our process is the right way. Obviously, I will also ask for quality, and believe me, so as a manager, your life is easier when you can bring quality and also a bit experience in. And there is also no doubt that I will be insistent in order to give us the best possible squad, and work a lot in the background. But if it's not possible, then I'm not asking for miracles, and then I also work with what I've got, and then we bring the next academy lad through, no problem. So this club doesn't rely on just one player or just 2 players, or just if we can spend lots of money. This club relies definitely on the supporters, but relies also more on that we want to build something with sustainability. And this is our way. As long as I'm in charge, I will work exactly in this way, and want to make sure that this club is in a better position. Yeah, when there is a time when I leave the club, I want to overgive this club in a much better position than it was when I came in through the door. And this is my biggest aim, and for that, you will also do in this terms, hopefully, quite a good job.
Does this stage of the season tempt a manager to take risks or more risks with players and tactics? And is it a good time to gamble, or is it a time to kind of stick to the plan and stick to the programme?
That's a good question, Phil. So yes, it's a bit tempting, because when the spotlight is a bit more on the games, you are tempted to do something exceptional or something special. But it's also important not to overdo it, and not, like I mentioned several times before, not to judge this job to be like a chess match between the managers. It's also important to stay humble and to make sure that you help as a manager your team, and you don't overload them with too many changes and with too many changes also in your approach. But yes, you have to take risks sometimes in order to improve in a few areas, and but if it's worth to take the risk, just the result will tell you. If you're there with a good result, then everyone say, no, it was great to take the risk. If not, then probably it was a mistake. But that's the fate of a manager. You have to decide, and this is what we have to do in the next 3 games.
We're just going to do Stuart's questions and go back. All right.